Tucker Carlson addresses the heart of these issues that very few others are willing to try and address because they understand the ramifications that come with it. If you break through on the right, then you can break it all. And that's what Tucker is doing.
How exactly did the IDF, the Israel Defense Forces, a military that the U.S. taxpayer pays for, that lots of wealthy Americans send money to friends of the IDF, how did all these guys wind up wearing patches suggesting the point of this war was the destruction of one of the holiest places in Islam and the rebuilding of a temple that is totally anathema to Christianity? Like, how did this happen? Well, there are a lot of ways it happened. The main way it happened is because no one in the United States noticed, because it's such a secular place. And as noted, we have eyes but can't see and ears and can't hear. But this has been going on a long time in public through, in part, the efforts of a group called Habad, C-H-A-B-A-D. And you may know people who give money to Habad or run into Habad, super nice people, engaged in all kinds of charitable activities, drug rehab. There's a lot about Habad that's really good. But what is Habad exactly? Well, Habad, you can look it up, is a very old organization, about 250 years old. And it's a branch of Hasidic Judaism. It's an organization that was overseen for many years by a guy called Rabbi Menachem Schneerson, who was famously in Brooklyn, considered the Messiah by some of his followers, who was a friend of presidents, or certainly someone presidents visited. He was a very powerful man in the Orthodox and the Hasidic community. And he was the overseer of Habad, which predated him and outlasted him, but he was its most visible ambassador. And Habad has been pushing in a pretty subtle way, unless you look carefully, for the reconstruction of the Third Temple.
Now, why is this such a big deal? Because this was actually an issue that was addressed by none other than Bill Maher in his movie Religulous years ago. That's how I was able to become aware of what they call the Beit HaMikdash, I think is how you say it. It's supposed to be the third temple, and it is supposed to be built on a very holy site to the Muslims. And the theory is that if it gets built, that this will bring about Armageddon. And therein lies the danger of deep religiosity in this country. And it isn't just from Jews or Zionist Jews, but more specifically from Christian Zionists, because they believe in this. Christian Zionists believe in the third temple construction leading to the rapture, leading to Jesus coming back to earth in the great holy war that they perceive is happening right now. Hey, I mean, listen, looks like we got a front row seat for it if that's what's coming. But to even touch upon this issue in a way that isn't even offensive, all Tucker is doing here is addressing the fact that this is a very real issue, that there are very real tie-ins to why there is this unholy alliance, if you will, between Jewish Zionists and Christian Zionists, or religious fundamental Jews who aren't necessarily Zionists, but believe in the rapture as well. And this is where Christian Zionism comes into play. The inherent danger of what it represents and what they're going to attempt to do should not be lost on anybody. They want to get them all there, and maybe they all have to be sacrificed. Maybe they're going to try to do the sacrificing themselves. Maybe they're going to summon Jesus and he'll be the one dispersing, hellfire and brimstone, who knows? But that, in so many ways, is freaking the shit out of a lot of people. And for those that have spent generations trying to get things to this point, and they feel like they're close, hell hath no fury if you try to stop them now. You know what it's like in some respects, guys? It's like being on a roller coaster. The ride has already begun. You cannot stop. You're out of the station now. You're already going up the hill. And this whole, well, we can stop it before we get to the top. Like, oh, no, you're not going to stop it now. We're already on our way. And by the time you get to the top and go down that first drop, that's what they've already anticipated. But this is where we are. There are people who believe in this stuff. It's disturbing, sure. But we are where we are. Colin, can I have that clip, please? I want people to realize why this is such a... Muslims would never try to destroy the whole world and send almost everyone to hell. Well, that's true. They wouldn't do that. In fact, I have found that the most peaceful people that I've encountered in places of worship are Muslims. At least that's been my personal experience. I don't know about anybody else. I've been to synagogue. I've been to Catholic church. I've been to a few different denominations of Christianity in between. And I've been to mosques. I have to tell you, best experiences for me personally, being at the mosque. That's truly where I have found that people are the least judgmental. Everybody's just there to pray in peace and, be one with God, I guess you would say. But we would be amiss not to address the fact that Tucker was absolutely hammered, as expected, for addressing this. And wouldn't you know it, little Ben Shapiro had something to say about it.
The brain rotted. Okay, so yesterday, President Trump went directly after Tucker Carlson. He said, quote, Tucker has lost his way. I knew that a long time ago, and he's not MAGA. MAGA is saving our country. MAGA is making our country great again. MAGA is America first, and Tucker is none of those things, and Tucker is really not smart enough to understand that.
So for those that are wondering about the elephant in the room, yes, those are actually his eyebrows. They are not fake, or maybe they are, but it's not AI. This wasn't superimposed on his face. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of little Ben's superior eye posterity. Very, very disturbing. Very much yeah. Well, don't forget, guys, he actually has a metal plate that appears to be a yarmulke embedded in his head. It blends in with his hair. Ben's eyebrows are definitely growing by the second, much less the minute. But don't worry, he's got to fetch a little harder.
All of which is obviously true, except that Tucker is smart. He knows exactly what he's doing. But like so many in the commentary business, the clicks and the giggles have contributed to a terminal case of brain rot. True, actual, undeniable brain rot. After Tucker said just a few days ago that Trump's action in Iran is, quote, absolutely disgusting and evil, Tucker has now declared that Habad, that is the Jewish organization most famous for their...
You got to hock it up before you say it.
Telethon, and also their warm approach to Jewish outreach. Habad was responsible for the war in Iran and was also seeking to destroy the Dome of the Rock and the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is, I'm sorry, totally insane. I mean, there are no levels to describe how that is. That is so crazy. That is clinically insane. That's like, put that dude in a straitjacket nuts.
And this is the person who claims to be the arbiter of what America, of what MAGA is supposed to be. Hey, listen, you can have MAGA, kid. We are focused on America first and how we're going to save this country, if it's even possible at this point. But with people like you basically being the primary concern for most citizens when it comes to the dismantlement of the Israel-U.S. relationship, the more you speak, the more people will be turned off by whatever the hell it is you're selling. And what Ben is selling more than anything else is Israel now, Israel tomorrow, Israel forever. Did you know that there are 15,000 Jewish people in the U.S. Army today? The United States military, excuse me. Do you know how many Jewish people in the United States decided to defect and sign up with the IDF? 23,000. Because they listen to people like him. They are not America first. They are certainly America last. And whether they're Israel first, which I think we all would agree they are, This is a person, probably as much as anybody, who has advocated for every single war, conflict, attack, coup. And the joke's on all of us. I could say the joke's on you to make it rhyme, but you get the idea. This is a man who clearly, well, I wouldn't even call him a man. This is a kid who pretends to be a man, who would never sign up to defend this country, probably wouldn't even defend Israel because he's just such a coward. But he's ready, willing, and able to send people off to die. Gleefully. He says that Trump is a hero for starting war with Iran. And this guy's going to comment about what is and what isn't. He's so damn rich. Why the hell can't he get at least a decent groomer for his face?
Chabad basically exists so that Jews who are interested in Judaism have a place to go to shul, to synagogue. They're the people who stand around at public events. You'll sometimes see them with phylacteries, asking Jews if they wrapped tefillin that day. They drive around with cars labeled mitzvah tanks. Their actual philosophy, by the way, on the rebuilding of the Third Temple is that the Third Temple is rebuilt by acts of loving kindness. I'm not even kidding. That's what they say. And Tucker basically just slandered Chabad. So again, I'm in a state of shock. It is hard to shock me when it comes to the levels to which Tucker Carlson goes, because he has been an ever-degrading show. But slandering Habad as basically Hamas, well, actually worse than Hamas, since Tucker actually thinks Hamas isn't really a terror group, this is legitimately psychotic stuff. I mean, psychotic break insanity.
Could we also point out, and I'm not going to play the clip, did you guys see the clip of Trump's granddaughter, Kai Trump, making a TikTok video in front of an aircraft carrier? In front of the jets? Why aren't they signing up? You know, in part, I think Ben did this because he wanted people at least paying attention to his video. He just wants the numbers. People are not really going to necessarily care about what he's saying. They just want to see how hideous his face looks right now. His eyebrows are as big as his mustache, which is probably painted on. Oh, yeah, please. Listen, if he went full unibrow, then he might get a good week of, clicks and numbers, which, as Jen has pointed out time and again, he farms them to begin with. They're not real. Maybe his eyebrows are as fake as his YouTube numbers. That's probably part of it. The good thing about what Ben Shapiro is doing, and the prerequisite, I think, has been certainly met. So let's not keep our public waiting. He deserves this more than ever. Yes, your poor nose would probably be shattered, and you can make all kinds of jokes about it, but in the end, I just think Ben is desperate for attention, desperate to remain relevant, but he's just not capable.